To follow developing news of an explosion at a steel plant in western Pennsylvania that killed 2 workers and injured 10 others. The explosion happened at Clairton Coke Works, a U.S. steel plant, which is about 15 miles south of Pittsburgh. That's where we find our Peter Fleischer, who has been covering this story since early yesterday. Peter, what is the scene like there this morning?
Good morning, Dave. It's much more quiet this morning outside the Clairton Coke Works plant. A lot more calm and reserved compared to the pure chaos that we dealt with for much of yesterday and really late into last night. The gates behind me, we're at the front of the plant, but it's been mostly quiet. We have not seen the emergency personnel that we saw really late into last night, up until 11 p.m. or so. That's when we saw ambulance, fire trucks, flashing lights. We had all of that, again, until about 11 p.m. But this morning, the only traffic we're seeing are dozens of workers filing in and out, whether they're starting their workday or ending their shift. Unfortunately, business does have to power on here in Clairton, Pennsylvania. Of course, this all comes after the massive explosion, and you mentioned those tragic numbers, Dave. 2 workers killed, 10 sent to the hospital. 5 were discharged yesterday afternoon, but 5 remained in critical condition during the last update that we got last night. And while we now know details about lives lost and who is recovering, an investigation begins into what went wrong.
It does bring our incident from an emergency standpoint to a close. Certainly doesn't close the incident as a whole. There's lots to be investigated, validate everything that occurred here. And our crews will continue to be here assisting U.S. Steel in that process of reviewing what occurred.
Now, for much of yesterday in the aftermath of that explosion, there were air quality concerns. At one point, families were advised to stay inside. There was even a potential recommendation to wear masks if you had respiratory concerns. All of that has been lifted, so families are allowed to return to their normal routines. But again, we're expecting emergency personnel to start filing in, beginning that investigation into how exactly that explosion took place. And we'll continue to provide you the latest information as the sun comes up and this morning continues. Dave?
Yeah, more to come on this. Peter there all day yesterday and back again live this morning for us. Thank you for the coverage.